Shalom, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Shah, that belongs to the Apostle of GMS. I'm Nawah Allah coming at you in the video. And this video I'm focusing on the book of Proverbs, the 15th chapter and 10th verse. Going into correction. You know? That's an important thing in the truth. I mean, in the truth, you're going to go off, you're going to make mistakes, and you got to take heed of correction. Now, it may be a brother that corrects you. It could come straight from the Spirit. You know it's the most, you know whatever it is, it's the Most High showing you a sign. Or sometimes, correcting yourself. You're looking at yourself, you're examining yourself, and acknowledging your own faults. So let's get right to it. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 10. It says, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. So what's the mean, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way? The him that forsaketh the way is talking about the person that's going away, the person that's going off, the person that's going away from the path of righteousness. If that person forsakes the path of righteousness, they forsake the wisdom, knowledge, understanding of Yahweh Bashem Shah, and choose to do the opposite, choose to do that which is unwise, that which is unrighteous. Correction is grievous unto him, because the individual that willingly makes that decision is an individual that's not taking heed of the righteousness of Yahweh Bashem Shah. And don't mind that music in the background. I'm outside right now. And he that hateth reproof shall die. And that's the kind of, so basically we're talking about the person that goes away from the path of righteousness and that hates reproof. Because we all may go off at times. We're all going to go off at times. But if a person goes off and they hate reproof, and that correction is grievous unto them, which is going to ultimately result in their death, in their demise. Alright? But we have a person that's filled with pride, you know, that doesn't want to acknowledge their own faults. This is the book of Proverbs 13 and 18. It says, poverty and shame shall be to him that refuses instruction. So a person that refuses instruction, they're going to receive poverty and shame. Once again, that shows you that a person that refuses instruction, that refuses the correct way, bad things are going to happen to them. They can go in poverty, they can squander their wealth. You ever try to tell a person with money, by giving them money, you ever try to give a person financial advice that has money, and they don't want to take heed to it? And what eventually happen? They end up going broke. They end up losing everything that they had because they didn't want to take heed to your advice. Poverty and shame should be to him that refuses instruction, but also a person that refuses instruction, shame is going to come upon them. Because if they refuse instruction, and then a judgment comes their way, then they're going to be ashamed. That person's father can be revealed before the congregation. You may have corrected them on the side, but it didn't take heed, and they continue to do what it is they want to do. And then eventually, it can get brought before the congregation, which can lead to them being ashamed. Alright? So we just got to take that into account. For he that regardeth reproof shall be honored, but a person that regards reproof, that takes reproof into account, that's willing to take heed to correction, they're going to be honored, because that's a wise man. If you got people out there that don't want to take correction, you know, when we go out there, when you're online, you got these other camps going off, teaching false doctrines. We correct them, these guys don't want to hear us. And eventually what happens is all of them guys get exposed, man. Those guys get exposed for their wickedness. Teaching falsehoods. And at some point, some type of judgment comes upon them. Comfy. All of these different guys. Even guys that I was once a part of GMS that went off and started teaching wayward doctrines. Guess what? He may have left GMS and kept teaching the word and was teaching it correctly at one point, but then eventually what happened? They started wanting to teach their own doctrine. They want to start doing their own thing. Oh, this tribe is not this group. Oh, this tribe is not Israelites. This tribe is not this tribe. You know, or everybody can make it. The Gentiles are gonna make it as the other nations. They just start going off. This kind of stuff happens. We've seen it before. All right. We've seen it before. Proverbs 29 and 1. He that being often reproved hardens his neck. So a person that's often corrected, often reproved, they can start to harden their neck. Harden the neck meaning what? To have a stiff neck. Like if you ever walking a dog and you want to pull a dog in one direction, what does the dog do? The dog may stiffen his neck. It's being stubborn, it's being hard-headed. It's refusing to go into the direction in which you're trying to take it towards. Well, that's an example of a person that this scripture is talking about. It's a person that's hardening their neck. They don't want to turn to the path of righteousness, and they want to do their own thing. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck. So, see, he often reproved, getting tired of the correction, want to go and do his own thing, shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. They can be destroyed without cure. They can be destroyed. There's going to be no way for them coming back. And that happens. That happens, man. And we're going around and correcting these different camps, or you're not doing it to boost ourselves up, to make it look like, yeah, see, we the guys with the knowledge. We're going to correct all these guys. We're doing it out of sincerity of heart. Why? Because we're committed to this truth. And that's part of what we got to do. We got to recruit it. 2 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. So that's the scripture for. Look at the word reproof.
Strong's G 1650. Elechas. Elechas.
A proof that by which a thing is proved or tested, conviction. So these scriptures test you. It tests what caliber of person you are. How? Because the word discerns the intents of the heart. And you start bringing out these scriptures and you see how people respond to it, whether they agree or don't agree, you can see the intents of their heart. It's like talking to a so-called Christian and they say they believe in the scriptures, and you go in the book of Leviticus, the 11th chapter, and the scriptures say that swine is unclean. Oh, nah, I can't get with that. That was back then. And that shows you their heart. That's a person that got a stiff neck. They've been exposed. They don't really truly believe the way they think that they do. They don't believe at all. So all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High and is profitable for doctrine, for proof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. Okay? So that's what it's for. It's profitable for doctrine and correction, and for instruction in righteousness. So ultimately, this is our job. This is what we got to do. Okay? This is part of our duty as men of the Lord, as prophets of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah. Proverbs 29:15. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings his mother to shame. So a child left to himself without correction to bring his mother to shame. That's self-explanatory. That's a child that basically has free reign to do what they please. So the scripture says the rod and reproof give wisdom. So a rod, like when you hitting, let's get a rod real fast. Shabbat, rod, staff, a mark of authority. So like, let's say you have a donkey or ox, and you have let's say a staff, and if the animal is stubborn, you hit it. Or you have what I'm looking for, or you have a goad, G-O-A-D. An ox is goad. So when the animal is being stiff-necked, you poke it with that staff, that ox goad. Or let's say a rod of correction. A person disciplines their child. That's meant to teach them, to show them what they ate. You get that rod of correction to show, hey, that's not what you're supposed to do. Well, you're supposed to do that with each other, with brothers. Brother go off, you gotta get the rod of correction. You're not literally physically hitting them, but it's figurative. You're correcting them with His word, with His truth. Okay? And it's like a rod of correction that you smite someone with. Psalms 141 verse 5. Let the righteous smite me, it shall be a kindness, and let him reprove me. It shall be an excellent oil which shall not break my head. For yet my prayer also shall be in their calamity. So the point I want to get to is, let the righteous smite me. You smite them with the rod of correction, with the word. and correcting them in righteousness. It shall be a kindness. That's an act of brotherly kindness. And let him reprove me, correct me. It shall be an excellent oil which shall not break my head. It should be an excellent oil. In other words, it should be like being anointed, like an ointment. It's not going to break your head because it's not a physical act of smiting. It's a figurative act, spiritual. So with that, I'm going to close and say, oh, praise Yahweh, Shem Yahshua, that belongs to the Apostle Jim Mess, the Lord, Shalom.